Darwin and Bill Hoffman and I were all ski patrollers at Alta. So we had a lot of time to sit around in the winter and talk about summer, and decided the three of us should put this company together in West Glacier.
We arrived in West Glacier in 1976. Coincidentally, it was the same year that the Flathead River system was brought into the Wild Scenic River system. Next spring, we set up with a sign in our new office, and a green pickup rolled up and said, "You need a special use permit to run this river." And we said, "Yeah." We came in and asked for one last fall, and they go, "And therefore I'm going to give you one." That was kind of how it started. I think the first summer we took 658 people down the river for $12.50 each, and then it grew from there.
My husband and I went to the Belton Chalet. Two guys came in. They said, "We're thinking about starting a whitewater rafting company here." And I said, "Do you think people would pay for that?" They sold me Bill's stock, and the rest is history. I was always in the office doing all the reservations, and Darwin and Anna were doing all the logistics. As my dad called us, a three-legged stool.
Saliano and Darwin are what built the culture of this company. The standard was set, and we've expanded on it. It's been a pretty incredible journey.
The Three Forks of the Flathead together are remarkably special. Together, there's 219 river miles that are protected by the Wild Scenic Rivers Act of 1968. Less than 1/2% of the nation's rivers have the same designation. So we guide on the Middle Fork of the Flathead, which is the southern boundary of Glacier National Park, and the North Fork of the Flathead, which is the western boundary. If you remember what it was like to drive your first car and go as far as you could go until you started to run out of gas, that's how it feels to me being on the river. People come out here and suddenly you can see the transformation in front of your eyes.
I first started at Glacier Raft when I was about 3 or 4 years old. I remember running around the front lawns as my dad was working. Some of my earliest memories are him offering us $1 to sweep a bus. It was never about business. It was about having fun. It was about enjoying life, keeping your family close.
We are in the business of making memories here, and not only for the guests, but for the employees as well. I think I was the 14th guide when Darwin told me I could sit on the bench and try to get a few trips here and there. We're pushing close to 80 guides now.
I'm the first third generation to commercially run the Middle Fork of the Flathead, and that's a really cool title that I hold near and dear to my heart. The Middle Fork of the Flathead gave me my fiance. If I would never have moved up here to come raft on this incredible river, I would have never have met Hannah. Like, I would love my kids one day to be able to come guide out here.
This place has become larger than any one person, than any one year. It's really the 50 years of history all compounded on one another to bring us to where we are now. The fact that that lines up with the anniversary of the Wild Scenic Rivers designation really just puts a point to the stewardship of Glacier Raft Company. I like our guides to think of themselves as three things: experts, leaders, and stewards. Being a steward means you not only care for this place, but you try to impart that care in others. If we can inspire others to care for it, the ability to protect this place only gets stronger.
Even though with many people that float it now, it still has its wild, special feeling. I mean, I've lost pets, I've lost family, I've lost friends, and then had to go to work the next day down on the Middle Fork, and somehow I'd come back out of the river feeling a lot better than I did when I went down.
It's an infectious, fun atmosphere to be around, so it attracted good people, and 10 years later they'd go, well, now my kids are big enough, and they'd bring their kids back and go rafting. Pretty soon their kids would come back and they'd want their first job.
I grew up with a good work ethic. I've tried to instill that into all of the employees that have come through Glacier Raft Company, and a lot of them have looked up to me and came back to tell me that, I made a big difference in their lives, which has really been important to me.
I feel really fortunate that Darwin and Anna and I found each other. I think the best thing about it all, we surrounded ourselves with really good people. And I think that's a really important thing to remember as you stretch forward